Prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells are the two types of cells that exist on Earth. There are several differences between the two, but the biggest distinction between them is that eukaryotic cells have a distinct nucleus containing the cell's genetic material, while prokaryotic cells don't have a nucleus and have free-floating genetic material instead. All living things can be divided into three basic domains: bacteria, archaea, and eukarya. The primarily single-celled organisms found in the bacteria and archaea domains are known as prokaryotes. Organisms in the eukarya domain are made of the more complex eukaryotic cells. These organisms, called eukaryotes, can be unicellular or multicellular and include animal, plants, fungi, and protists. According to the NIH, eukaryotes developed 2.7 billion years ago following 1 to 1.5 billion years of prokaryotic evolution. The hypothesis is that the nucleus and other eukaryotic features first formed after a prokaryotic organism engulfed another. Prokaryotes and eukaryotes share DNA, cell membrane, cytoplasm, and ribosomes, but they differ in a lot of these other categories. Eukaryotic cells have a nucleus surrounded by a nuclear envelope that's made up of two lipid membranes. The nucleus holds the eukaryotic cell's DNA. On the other hand, prokaryotic cells don't have a nucleus. Rather, they have membraneless nucleoid region that holds free-floating DNA. The entire DNA in a cell can be found in individual pieces known as chromosomes. Eukaryotic cells have many chromosomes that undergo meiosis and mitosis during cell division, but prokaryotic cells consist of just one circular chromosome. Although recent studies have shown that some prokaryotes have as many as 4 linear or circular chromosomes. Eukaryotic cells have several other membrane-bound organelles that aren't found in prokaryotic cells. This includes the mitochondria, the rough and smooth endoplasmic reticulum, the Golgi body, and others. All of these organelles are located in the eukaryotic cell's cytoplasm. Let's also talk about ribosomes. Ribosomes are found in prokaryotes and eukaryotes, but in eukaryotic cells, the ribosomes are bigger and more complex and bound by a membrane. They can be found in various places, sometimes in the cytoplasm, on the endoplasmic reticulum, or attached to the nuclear membrane. In prokaryotic cells, the ribosomes are scattered and floating freely throughout the cytoplasm. The ribosomes in prokaryotic cells also have smaller subunits. All ribosomes, both eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells, are made up of two subunits, a larger one and a smaller one. In eukaryotes, these pieces are identified as the 60S and 40S subunits, but in prokaryotes, the ribosomes are made up of slightly smaller subunits called 50S and 30S. As for reproduction, most eukaryotes reproduce sexually, although there are some exceptions like protists and single-celled fungi that might reproduce through mitosis, which is more similar to asexual reproduction. On the other hand, prokaryotes reproduce asexually, and this results in the offspring being an exact clone of its parent. Although some prokaryotic cells also have pili, which are these hair-like projections that extend from the outer membrane, and they can often be used to exchange genetic material during a type of sexual process known as conjugation. And finally, let's talk about cell walls. Most prokaryotic cells have a rigid cell wall that surrounds the plasma membrane and gives shape to the organism. In eukaryotes, vertebrates don't have a cell wall, but plants do. And the cell walls of prokaryotes differ chemically from the eukaryotic cell walls of plant cells, which are primarily made up of cellulose. In bacteria, for example, the cell walls are composed of peptidoglycans, which are sugars and amino acids. Be sure to also show me some support on my Instagram page where I post updates on my new videos, as well as some science content and news.